So we are checking NCAA Women's College Basketball Scores for Saturday, January 17th, 2025, 6 So let's go talk about those scores. We have TCU beats Arizona 62. Kansas State upsets number 17 Texas Tech in Lubbock. Gives Texas Tech their first loss of the season. That's an upset for Texas Tech in the year. I mean, it was probably coming eventually that Texas Tech would lose a game, but I didn't think they would lose against like Kansas State though. I did not think would come against Kansas State though. I thought maybe if they played a ranked team like TCU, it would come against like the TCU when they played TCU. I thought then maybe, but number 18 Baylor beats BYU 68-9-58. Number 22 Princeton. I could see number 22 Princeton Princeton. And only one loss all the way through the Ivy League Championship. All the way to the undefeated like regular season. I could see it, They have an undefeated regular season. In the Ivy League regular season, and pretty much maybe only lose one game in conference play. I could see that happening too. And no games that would be undefeated conference, so lose one game total. Army, they defeat American University 62-56. It was tight in that first half. It was a point lead for Army, but it was a point lead for American University. My bad. Point lead for American University. Half, but then Army came back and was up 9 after 3, and won by 7, 62-56. St. John's survives at Xavier 66-64. Providence 80-77 over Crane. Crane is not the same Crane team they were before, but Crane is not the same team they were before. Crane actually used to be with like Marquette, Villanova, Seton Hall, in like that top 2 through 5 quadrant, but they're not this year. So you can tell they're not that team. If even teams like Providence are beating them. And then Chicago State, they survive at Limon 61-55. Beat Limon by 6. Brown improves to 3-0 at Ivy League play. It was a 64-48 win. That is a 64-48 win at Cornell. And then we had Ohio. They survive at Northern Illinois, or at home against Northern Illinois, 66-62. And then Central Michigan 77-54. Eastern Michigan. Massachusetts defeats Buffalo in their first year in the Mid-American Conference. Massachusetts is not a bad women's basketball team. Actually, women's basketball. Yeah, I don't follow tons of men's basketball, but I know they're a good school in women's basketball. I know they are, and you can definitely see that they are 13-3 overall, 5-1 in the conference. Ball State is 14-4, 6-0 in the MAC. I mean, in women's, I know in mid majors, sometimes you're not consistent because your head coach sometimes leaves. A lot of times your head coaches out leave for other schools. But Well, you have other coaches that leave to go to other schools, not like power conference jobs. But Massachusetts will take it. Ball State 670, 57 Western Michigan. Ball State goes 6-0 in conference, 14-4 overall. And then Penn State, Newman, City, Rack. Mountain Series 71-64 wins. Mercyhurst gets their fourth NEC win of the season, 4-2 in the conference. They're solidly in like the top four in the conference. They're solidly in the top four. They will make it to they should host an NEC quarterfinal game pretty easily. If they have to play a first round. Right now they should have to play a first round game. They shouldn't have to, but they shouldn't have to host a first round, but they do. I'm not playing the first round, but quarterfinal. They should be getting by the quarterfinal. No, quarterfinal. Probably most likely even a semifinal. And then St. Francis 74 Senior Central League. Me 73-51 New Hampshire. Lazy Van 102-58 Lazy. Genius Madison 60-60 Jerusalem. Coastal Carolina 63-50 South Alabama. Warren State 61-50 Delaware State. Chicago 53-40 Rivers. East Carolina 81-60 Red Temple. Howard 16-61 North Carolina Central. Norfolk State blew up South Carolina State 85-41. Utah 7-60 Houston. Jackson State 62-43 Purdue Union. Alcorn State proves a 4-1 this so 66-41 51 Texas Southern. Harvard 53-42 Princeton. Radford 67-65 Winter. High Point still meeting the conference play with a 60-54 win over London. New England Web 52-45 over Josephson. Columbia 85-50 over Yale. Columbia they're usually first or second place in the conference with Princeton. But however, this season, Brown is actually second. That's the other undefeated team in the conference. Then, but no, 46-43 Colby. Waycross 70-48 below over Mount Field. 56-55 or 22 point. Not huge blow, but a big blow. Still, that's super competitive in that fourth quarter. They put the lead by 14 in the fourth to win the fourth quarter. 56-55 over Boston University starts at Boston University around UNC Asheville 64-53 Presbyterian. South Dakota 75-55 over Denver. St. State 75-60 St. Tennessee over St. Thomas this one. Northern Kentucky 7 with they were 3-8 in non-conference. 3-8 in non-conference. Now they went to 10-11 in conference. With the conference, the record that it is, they have an E2 56 win over the Red States, but now they proved 7-3 in conference. 10-11 are even below 500, which is not bad. It's a pretty solid record for maybe for a team that's not the top 10 units, but still not terrible conference. A unit goes 61-52 over UNC State. Green Bay goes to 10 in the conference. They were 5-5 in that conference. They got 10 in conference play. 76-52 at Milwaukee. Furman 68-30 below at with a stranger line. Wofford 61-58 survives at Homeland Students Regensburg. Mercer 76-67 Sanford. Quinnipiac improves to 8-0 in the Metro Athletic Conference with a 58-47 win over Marist. Fairfield 76-54 over Manhattan. Ryder 64-54 over Sigurd. Siena 74-47 over St. Peter's. New Haven 50-45 over New Haven. New Haven is new to Division 1, and they're still competitive in NEC, which is a conference for record, not like these teams, the quality of teams they've been there. not, you know, I mean, they're not the top teams in NEC, they're the top conference, but though you can compete against strong receivers, even teams that are coming up from Division 1, Division 2, Division 1. Like, and then you had Chicago State, which is a team coming up from Division 2, Division 1, and these were Division 1 and Pro. You know, they're fighting the conference. They're still trying to, you know, still kind of at that, but, you know, make a Division 2 division. You know, make a little team, maybe division. Yeah, high Division 2, maybe say like a lower Division 1. Maybe. You know, that could be like that, you know. And see it, and then you have Friday can see improves to 6 undefeated conference place, 15 for all, 6 run NEC play, 59-58 win on University, and was a 5-1 in conference play. Now, the loss, Fred Dickinson could have had a first loss in conference play. A lot of times, you know, we see it. Fred Dickinson can go undefeated in conference play, you know, and what they did this year, or they did have so far this year. Usually they win them all, or maybe lose one. But I wouldn't be surprised if the rematch game is either won by Fairleigh Dickinson, maybe a very close, or even won by Long Island. I could see what we at Fairleigh Dickinson. You know, wins at that point to the same problem. And then NJT City were right. NBC 60 for 58 Garnet Ward 66 days Rose Troy 67 60 60 Old Dominion stunned Marshall 80-42 Woodson. Well, Marshall got stunned by James Man, got blown out against James Madison and against Dominion. They had to go to goal. They were down 7 after 3 quarters. And then they were down 17 after 3. Then overtime, had the extra ledge, just went 14-12, for it. Georgia State beats Marshall with a big third quarter, or beats Appalachian State. Georgia State beats Appalachian State with a big third quarter to win 79-57. Texas A&M Corpus Christi leads Southeastern at 68-65. Lamar 72-64 over Nichols. Houston Christian 65-52 E6 A&M. And then West Georgia 88-76 over Stetson. And then North Alabama 83-78 over Jacksonville. North Coast 65-45 over University. And then Eastern Texas 90-46 over Illinois. Central is 78-72 over Florida. Southern 72-60 over Tennessee State. Red State 67-66 at Tennessee Tech. Western Light 75-50 over Arbor Rock. And Redeemer 73-70 over Illinois. Sears 59-47 to 1 for Western Lighters and Southern, yeah. They're both 7-1 in conference play. Oh, that's tough, you know, for a team like that, you know. I don't know Western and Southern will play. I'm really kind of curious. See when Western and Southern will play each other. They haven't played each other already. Yeah. So they play Southern Indiana, Western, Southern Indiana, play at Southern Indiana on the 24th. And then they play on the 19th, which is a Thursday during the Olympics. At 6 p.m. Eastern. And then they play at Southern at 2 p.m. Eastern on the 24th. So I don't like that, you know. I'm like watching games already because I'm not sure, but you know, I'm watching it since then. Sorry. But I do, but I'll be watching the first game. That should be a solid. You know, if I can. If there's no goal for our sports, then which I will then if there isn't, and because I will watch because it should be going. And then we turn to 15 and 47 over to Valley. Then we have Tarleton State 6 for 60 to Abbey Christian E250 for Sarita. Really attacked 78-65 with Sarita after upsetting Sam Houston. Sam Houston probably was a little better there because they're at home. You know, I mean, there's probably no there's not many not betting odds for me possibly. But just even in like the percentage favorites according to ESPN, which has the percentage for pretty much a lot of, I don't know why every sport, but pretty much a lot of sports they do. And I wouldn't be surprised if they were like unfavored a little bit. And then New Mexico State knocks up Missouri State 63-56. Oops, my bad. Louisiana Tech. Why is Louisiana Tech knocked off Sam Houston? I mean, Sam Houston knocked off Louisiana Tech, did they? Yeah. Sam Houston knocked off Louisiana Tech. And after Sam Houston knocked off Louisiana, I don't know why I was thinking there. Yeah, after Sam Houston knocked off Louisiana Tech in the first game. Louisiana Tech was the favorite though in that game, actually. I mean, Louisiana Tech played the first game. Louisiana Tech was the number one team in conference. And so Moses Liberty was number 2 in the conference. Liberty was a solid number 2. Missouri State's a solid team in conference as well. Missouri State was solid in the Missouri Valley Conference, and they're solid in major basketball, So, and then you have Mountain Tennessee. They're solid in conference USA play. They won. They're pretty solid there too. So, got pretty solid. A lot of teams like a 5-way for a first. 4-1, 5-1. So, it'll be pretty competitive in the Conference USA. Come to that Conference USA tournament too. The regular season and the Conference USA tournament too. You're going to see really competitive games the rest of the season, especially in the top. Chicago State, 74-47, Kansas State, especially with top playing each other. Florida Nationals, 67 Utah. Salisbury State, 64-56 over Utah. Cross State, 6-85, 60 San Jose State. Southern, 14 had like a tough as non-conferences now. Playing against tons of hard sports. To get to 500 is 4-1 so play is really good. 64 is really good. Race survives at Texas 58-54. They were up 11 at half, but they survived up. And win 4, right? So, and then Tulane. In 63-60 really seen how Suarez at the ball pretty with a close one at the ball 66 86 77 and then Georgetown 63-54 were working and then Roberts 85-72 were home and then North Dakota State improves to 62-5-0 in something like it was up to go falls to 45-4 runs swiftly. Earns a State with only one loss at Carbon Sway. They survive. It is kind of survive because they lost the first by 4, won the second by 8, won the third by 6, won the UNC. And see if Austin proves 8, proves to 7-2 stop 85-63. More Amy's top team in the conference, so with 7-8 overall, 14-4 overall. Even the conference 14-4 overall. They went 70-54 to Urban Valley. And then you have Lipscomb 51-45 at Boston P. Earns a pen to win 63-50 Florida. Fresno State 54-44. Win 54. 4 guys over that. Mississippi State City for 55. Over Bethune Cookman. And then also 64-53 over American. 67-44 Bill. Whatever. And then Arizona State 67-51 over Kansas. Chattanooga, 3-1 conference play. 53-41. And we have Bruce to 6 on the Mid-America. They survive at Bowling 51-49. Norcross 68-46 over Silver State. Montana State dominates Montana 82-44. Montana State is the undefeated in conference 5-0. Arizona 3-3 over Olympic Sky 8-68 over Current State. Virginia had a tough non-conference. They were 1-9. Another is 5-3 on West and 6-12 overall. So they have 6 over Mexico. San Diego State went 12 and is 14-3 overall now. And they are 75-60 over UNLV. The UNLV goes to similar in the conference now. They're having a tough conference. They were 5-5. Went 2. 1-6 off the 7 honors. Washington, Oregon State was a 6-1 conference. West Coast Conference was 16-68. So but they were down 9. They win the fourth quarter, 10 to win by 1. 74-54 Pursuit. Gonzaga 87. 40s, 82. Say 742 over San Diego. We see it's Rose by point at home against Costa Rica 6-2. Costa 14 83 71 over UC Riverside. UC Ryan 73-42 over UCUs. Then Idaho wins. Nancy against the University 657 Russian is Russian. Dollar 76 again at Liberty. Liberty a top team in the conference. Yeah, we're number 2 in the preseason. They're 91. We got Houston. Middle Tennessee. Middle Tennessee is this like could be a 3 team. Or Missouri State, they were top in the Mount Missouri backgrounds, but when it translates to Mount, when it translates to the what translate cruises, it has, and then Vermont's 60-49 over Albany, and then 75-53 so far beats Wichita State. And then UC San Diego loses 7 on the West play for 5 overall numbers. They win 84-66 over Cal State Bakersfield. Then Seattle 68-68 over Syracuse. Portland 83-57 over CLU. And then Boise State 76-60 over Wichita State. San Francisco 85-62 over Washington State. And Hawaii defeats San Barbara. That was the opposite actually. San Barbara, Hawaii was 0-5 in the Big West. Going into this week on Thursday, they were on Thursday they were. Oh, and then on Thursday they were 1-5. And then they beat Cowboy Blow. And then they beat UC San Barbara, which is a good solid team in the Big West. Lost one game in non-conference to UCLA, which is probably expected by that team in the West. And then UCLA was bad. Excuse me. That's a solid loss. And then losing to Kelsey for that point. And they didn't think they would get blown out, probably or not blown out, but kind of dominated by Hawaii, even though some of the quarters were closer. Hawaii were dominating them. You wouldn't think that would happen, but it did. And the Navy considered in the NCAA's eyes. It does not count as a forfeit, but in the conference, it does count as a forfeit. Navy does not play that against Lehigh. Lehigh did not play it. Did not travel. Lehigh did not travel to Annapolis to play. And the reason of that is because Navy or Lehigh did not travel to Navy because Lehigh did not have enough healthy bodies available to play. Lehigh had very limited bodies, not enough legs, probably not enough scholarship bodies, or just bodies in general, even if they're on scholarship, to be able to play this game against Navy. So, yeah, forfeited.